This is a video on spiral dynamics leaving coral. Hello, this is Wake Up Chris speaking, and today I want to make another video about spiral dynamics coral. A few months ago I said I won't do any more spiral dynamics videos, but I will, because back then I was too attached to the model of spiral dynamics and now I'm not anymore. It's very important in spiral dynamics that you know that no color is better than another and that there's no linear growth or development. It's just a description of different stages that most people go through in some order or another. Also, you can vacillate back and forth between these stages. It's not that you're in one stage and that you will never fall back to another, which is what Sri Aurobindo calls weaving or anchoring. Whenever you experience a new state of consciousness, and sometimes you have to go back a little bit to ground it in day-to-day experience. Otherwise, there's always a danger that it only becomes more mindfuck. What we don't need is more mindfuck, more theories, more thinking. It's all about experience. And some people experience coral, and then at some point there's necessarily the question, as Osho put it, but how to get out of it? Of course, Osho was not speaking about spiral dynamics, but that is always the question, how to get out of it when you're stuck in one place in consciousness, in time and space and craziness. And that is indeed one of the main questions of the spiral dynamics color of coral, or indigo, how some people call it. I've said before in several videos that coral feels like a washing machine or like a waste treatment plant. All kinds of old negativity will come up to be cleansed out of the system. But first it has to come up. It has to be washed up to the surface and then sifted off. That is why this stage can come across a bit negative or depressed from the perspective of onlookers, and also often from the perspective of the one who is going through. Old fears, old apathy, old grief, any kind of negative emotions will come up, including pride. Remember that coral is the red of the second tier, so pride will come up. And here it is called spiritual pride, which is one of the greatest obstacles to a spiritual life. To think that you are better somehow because you have had some spiritual experiences or because you are somehow more advanced is the greatest of all obstacles, probably, apart from ignorance. The tricky thing here is that pride will get you into yellow, but afterwards, moving on from yellow, it will become an obstacle. And actually, most people who think they are in coral are actually in yellow. They can be confused. As long as you're still mostly trusting your mind, you're probably in yellow. In coral, you're giving up all these things. Trust in your mind, trust in your emotions, trust in your instincts. The only thing left is intuition, which does not come from within you, which will make you very humble. And humility is the way out of coral. The question is, what is humility? I didn't find any good picture because all the pictures I found that were titled humility had nothing to do with humility. So it's probable that people don't even know what humility is. So it's hard to exercise it. I would venture to say that humility is realizing that you are a speck of dust in a vast universe beyond imagination in size and possibilities. That anything of any value is given to you as a gift and not as your accomplishment or achievement. This leads to coral often manifesting in some kind of asceticism, some kind of withdrawing, or a deep devotion to something. What in India is called bhakti yoga. Or in other forms also karma yoga or tantra. It's all about giving up that you are the one who is doing something. You're emptying yourself to be filled up by the divine or the universe or whatever you call it. The aim is to become an empty vessel that can be filled up with divine energy. As long as you're still filled up with garbage, this cannot happen. So coral is a cleansing process to get rid of the garbage. But this garbage comes to the surface first and is experienced by the journeyman or journeywoman and all kinds of onlookers like your family and friends as something very negative or depressed, usually. So it will be some intense navel gazing, which has some negative or nihilistic aspects, but is necessary to bring the garbage to the surface and then get rid of it. After you have looked at your garbage with all honesty, that is possible for you to manage. The only possible outcome will be that you're an idiot, and that once again you stepped into all kinds of ego traps, which will even make you more negative and depressed, but this will be projected onto the outside, onto the world outside of you, and you will see only a big shit show. You will lose the harmony that you had in turquoise and see only negativity around you. Everything is just horrible. The world is bad. Which, of course, will open all kinds of portals to conspiracy theories, which are very fast way back to yellow or green. There's no conspiracy here. Not anyway any other conspiracy than the whole world being an illusion. And it's necessary for you to see that all negativity is originating within you. It's not out there.
And they're not after you. The chickens, Malos.
It's all just happening in your head, in your emotions and mind. So to exit coral, it is necessary to say goodbye to everything. Everything you believe, everything you think, everything you know, and to start afresh. And let yourself be guided. Now leave all the garbage behind. Navel gazing and garbage gathering can also become addictive. So at some point, the energy of coral will become so heavy that it will implode and collapse into itself. And then there will be some kind of freedom. And for the first time, you will see glimpses of a world without the fettering of the mind. The world will be much bigger, much vaster, much more complex, much more diverse and versatile, because you're not concentrating on some aspects anymore. This is an aspect that Tony and Bernadette are and have been talking about for a long time, that the ego self is nothing else but a concentration, a focus. Also, Carlos Castaneda has been talking about this. And once this focus actually finally starts to dissolve, not thinking that it's gone, well, actually you're full of negativity. Now, all this negativity that has been building up is suddenly gone, and you see a vast world without feeling the need to judge it as positive or negative. It's a comfortable neutrality. And you can see that within this ocean, you're just a little fleck swimming around. This ocean is so powerful and so gigantic, humongous, that you don't have any choice but to trust it. It can destroy you any day, which is also the way out of fear. Fear of what? Yeah. Osho has once said correctly that the greatest sickness is not any virus, but it is fear. Fear is the big problem. And once you really acknowledge that there's nothing you can do anyway, that you're at the mercy of the universe, this fear is gone. Once you really lose the fear of death, that's it. What problem is left? What can you still be afraid of? Many people claim that they're not afraid of death, but they're afraid of this and that. No, every fear is a fear of death and a fear of non-existence. And as I say this, the telephone is ringing, probably telling me that the video has already exceeded my usual 10 minutes. Okay, so this is leaving coral to see that there's a vastness out there, and everything beforehand was just thinking, theory. The only practice that's left is letting go. Just letting everything happen and direct all the energy that has previously gone into the focus on your own problems or the problems of the world, flow into seeing everything at once instead of only one aspect. A friend of mine has once said it feels like coming into the vicinity of a new city that you've never seen before. A very, very strange city. You're a stranger in a strange land, but it doesn't feel threatening anymore. You just look around and see, oh, interesting. How did I not notice this before? Humility, surrender, devotion, intuition, letting yourself be guided, giving up the driver's seat, giving up that somehow you're a great person, giving up insisting on anything, giving up being right, giving up knowing more, giving up resistance. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing or joining me on Patreon or Facebook. Thank you for your beautiful emails and Skype interviews. And the next video will be about entering teal or violet.